decided not to apply also because they had members that were based in Cyprus, as what the Council of Europe recognizes as Cyprus. And I think that's it. I sometimes get random requests from associations also not in Europe, which I also decline because they're not eligible.
Thank you. Annette?
Marion and France, you have been in EPSA network for quite some times now, and we do know that for some associations are more or less active 3 years, and many projects have been implemented in 3 years. What do you think? How helps the project implemented has reached member associations, and do you think that there is still improvement to do? Thank you.
Marlene?
Marlene VPA. So I think in general, there is always improvement to do. I think whenever a new project is implemented, what should be kept in mind is whatever, if we already have something similar that we can either have a sub-project or have diversity on before making something completely new. Also taking into account the time it is scheduled, because being students, having something big planned in January often doesn't turn out, which is frustrating from the person organizing things, plus also the LSs that cannot do their work to the best of their abilities if they're super busy. And in general, there is a tendency in EPSA to have projects, finding out they don't have them, dropping them, and a few years later, pretty much the same project comes up, and the whole circle begins again. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, KMPSV.
Eline KMPSV Netherlands. So in your report you also wrote about the support fund, and especially that many dropped out very late, which meant that support fund was already assigned to them and there was no one to fill the spot, which is a real shame. Do you have any ideas on how to tackle this, maybe putting a consequence to the fact that they don't actually follow up on their support fund, or any other suggestions?
Marlene?
Marlene VPA. Yeah, thank you for the question. It is a big thing that we already talked about within the executive as well, because as far as my knowledge goes, there has not, before the pandemic, there was no problem with that. Support fund receivers always showed up. The way we did it this year was having, in the beginning, during the in the first few days of registration period, if I found out that the support fund applicant is not coming after all, we did a quick vote with the next person in line. And we wanted to establish something with a general, more official waiting list, support fund receivers having 20 days to apply, and then if they don't apply, or if they don't give a good reason to apply, they will be dropped when the next person comes. Because then it's still in the first registration period. It's kind of similar to a prioritization list. The RC doesn't have empty spaces, and the support fund receivers that are eligible but didn't get the same rank in the application still have a chance to get in. But also, maybe just one quick note, we sometimes receive confirmations 3 weeks before the Congress. And there is nothing that one can do 3 weeks before Congress.
Thank you. Are there any new points, questions, comments? Asep?
Elena, Asep, Switzerland. Thank you very much for your report and all your work. We wanted to ask about the asset check-in and how you would improve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Marlene?
Marlene VPA. So the LS check-in was something I tried out this year, so there is a lot to improve. The first thing would be the scheduling, because that is the most time-consuming part. I did have some general questions to guide the conversation, but those can be improved to have more specific ones. Apart from that, I think a better system of, because right now I did it with a couple of rounds whenever I had really a free week, so that I could schedule a lot of them in the same week. But I think having some kind of setup schedule that it's automatically after, I don't know, 3-4 months into the mandate, at the start of their mandate, might help to have a better structured overview of the whole system.
Thank you. Do we have any new points? Asep?
Yasmin Azeb, Switzerland. So I just wanted to thank you again as KPSV did because all of the work you do and well, you were very responsive, you were responding within hours, if not minutes. So we are really happy with all the work you have done and we will miss you a lot next year.
Thank you. Any new points? I don't see any, so thank you very much, Marlene, for your report. And we will be moving on to Kati to present her report. Oh, she's there. Kati?
Kathy, Events Coordinator. Okay, so since the writing of my report, I mainly worked on organization of XII, which includes scheduling daily RC meetings, raffle, auction, first attendee session on how to organize an EPSA event, prepared a session on being an EPSA team member that will be held tomorrow, working with the booth, assisting the RC whenever necessary. I also scheduled live meetings with the future RCs that are attending this event so that we can meet live with the EPSA team and mainly with the people that are working with them. And I provided students who are interested in running for the event scope position with information and meeting them during lunch or breakfast to provide some answers to the questions they have. And additionally, I liaised with the SU23 RC on the registration period since it's starting 2 weeks after the event, but with 1 week out of office. I wanted to have everything done prior to the start of this event. That's all.
Thank you. We will now take questions for Kati, KPSV.
Eline KPSV Netherlands. Well, Kati, we just want to thank you so much for all the work you've done. We're really proud of you. You really live and breathe EPSA, and you did so great as events coordinator. Obviously, you had the experience from last year, but even from the start, everything went so smooth, and we really noticed that the RCs love you, which is super important, obviously, for hosting these events. Onto a question. So, in your report, you really also detailedly explained the process of some of the associations interested but dropping out. But what do you think is like the main obstacle for associations to apply and why they drop out? And maybe also, what do you think we can do to help with that or improve that?
Thank you. Kati?
Kathy, Events Coordinator. The main obstacle obviously is finances and everything related to this, which includes also sponsoring, so not necessarily finances, but just the whole budget around making sure that you have enough income to cover the expenses. With inflation going on, the expenses of course are rising. The registration fee or participants fee is regulated in Torso. We cannot just like hire it, and also I don't think we should necessarily hire it because the higher it gets, the more difficult it gets for every participant to attend these events. And we also want everyone to be able to attend these events, even with the support fund. So that's the main issue. Like when an RC's or when an association is bidding for an event, they have to have the assurance that they can actually have it without like a negative in the end. That they can just organize it, have a positive outcome, and that they don't have stress. For example, if they if they don't have enough money to cover the expenses, and they will get a debt to EPSA. This will have also like consequences for the association. So that's basically like finances, everything related to this. I'm not sure if you still asked the second question within your question. If you did, please tell me.
Okay, thank you. Next up we have direct from KPSV.
Eline KPSV Netherlands, so we agree with you that finances seem to be the biggest hurdle. What do you think EPSA can do to help with this?
Thank you. Kati?
Kathy, Events Coordinator. I think the main thing is just providing with like assistance, because for example the VP ER is always like asking the RCs like, hey, how can we help you? Can we provide you with anything like specific on finances, like scheduling a meeting on how to approach partners, like more on this side of how to get like a higher income, I would say. And I think for like the remainder of the mandate, I would like to discuss first within the team, and then also open an email thread to assess like the possibilities in the end of, for example, I already liaised with PC, how many sessions are really needed to like kind of switch the program around that, for example, events might get like a different look, for example, 1 day shorter, which will already help with finances and might make the difference between them not being or being available to organize an event.
Thank you. Next up we have Anef. Dropped. Asep.
Elena Azab, Switzerland. How would you evaluate the how to organize an event workshops? Like, has it increased the interest of members to organize an event? Thank you.
Thank you. Kati.
I cannot really say that specifically. The feedback that we received on the participant survey was always positive. I mean, in general, we do have some people that are already interested in organizing events, attending these sessions as well, so their interest like doesn't change. And then also some people approach me afterwards, but until like, for example, now I don't really see a specific person that really like from 0 to 100% is like, oh, I didn't know what event organization was, to I'm gonna bid for this event, because most of them, the ones that are joining, I've already been in contact with. So I cannot really say that specifically.
Thank you. Ken PSV.
Elina Kempies in Netherlands. So right now there's the possibility for 2 people to go on a pre-visit. Can you elaborate on what your opinion is? Like, do you think it's necessary to have more than 1 person perform the pre-visit, because there is money budgeted for this?
Kati.
Kathy, that's great. Sorry, just had a small clarification to exact. I mean, it depends on the event. I think for SU it's totally fine just to have like 1 person attending. But for AC, I would recommend to have like 2 people, because the event is bigger and in general it's just better. Like, it's, from what I've seen also, because I didn't attend like the AA22 pre-visit, I did feel less informed when the event was going on, because some things were said and discussed in the pre-visit and I was not there. And of course we can work internally on how to make sure that every information also gets to the people that are not attending the event, because we already tried, but I do feel like some information might get lost, and therefore for at least AC and also AA I would recommend for 2 people to go. And then especially the events coordinator and the vice president of education, since they're just the most involved in the event or like organization.
Thank you. Do we have any new points? Ken PSV.
Elina Kempies in Netherlands. So this is a bit specific, but we read in the emergency exec meeting during AA that there was quite some financial issues, and even one of the RC members actually put in a personal loan, if we understand it correctly. So can you maybe elaborate on that and how you think RC experienced that and how EPSA helped and everything?
Thank you. Kati.
Kathy, events coordinator. So in the end we don't have the financial report yet, so I cannot say specifics on like the amount of monies, because we don't know. We have discussed it, and in the end what is regulated is that the RC is responsible for the finances. So yes, in the end if they have more expenses than income, the money should come from somewhere. Mostly it's the association that is hosting the event, but in this case that association wasn't able to. So yeah, that's kind of like the background on this. Since we don't have a financial report, I cannot say anything on this. I think it adds to the stress of the reception committee, and what EPSA tried to do to help is that also EPSA money that was basically, that came from the AC21 event, because they had a profit, we divided this differently with the motion that was presented during the GA in Athens, so that more money was not going towards EPSA, but going towards the RC, so that they at least had like a little bit more financial stability. But since the report, I don't have the specifics.
Thank you. We have a direct from Asep.
Elena Azab, Switzerland. since finances are a major problem of members bidding for events, do you think it might help if EPSA, for example, says that they give some kind of insurance if there is a loss? Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathy, events coordinator. I mean, in the perfect world, I say yes, because of course it would help if EPSA just says, oh, we can allocate money to RCs and to each event. But in the end, also, EPSA doesn't have like unlimited financial resources. So, yeah, at the moment of now, we're like there's no real way EPSA can, for example, allocate money and like in the end say, oh, if the expenses are too high compared to the income, we can just cover the loss, like the rest of the expenses.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments for Kati? Anef?
Marion La France, do you think that at some point it will be not anymore feasible to RC to organize annual congress, for example, since the increasing of price, and we need to like really restructure the model of AC, or thank you.
Thank you, Kati.
Kathy, events coordinator. Okay, so I cannot give a very specific, concrete answer because I also don't know how the future with inflation is gonna go. But this is kind of what I meant with like the thing I said, and I think it was one of the first questions on like that maybe within EPSA we could discuss within the team, with all the LSs or these other people, like more how can we change the structure to make like the finances lower, for example, already having sessions on arrival day, so that like the GA has to be like specific. I think for AC it's 12 sessions, for AA it's 8 sessions. So technically there would be a possibility to make the event shorter, maybe this would help. And then instead of, for example, raising the fee, the like expenses of the RC are dropped because you had one last night. But for now it's a discussion we are having, and I don't know how the discussion will go.
Thank you. Next up we have Asip.
Yasmin Azab, Switzerland. We would like to know why RCs are not able to be in contact with the sponsors of EPSA.
POVPR, the partner of EPSA and the partner of the RC are two different things. Like we all have our own partner and our own money, and we can mix it up because it will lead to very concerns like financial situation for EPSA. Usually the RC deal with their national partners and EPSA deal with European partners. However, this year I never forbidden the RC to contact the national part of our partners. I always encourage them to do so, and I try to not put any obstacle between them and the partners. And yeah.
Thank you, Theo. Also, Theo, please. But thank you. Do we have any other comments or questions for Kati? I don't see any, so thank you very much, Kati, for your report, and we will be moving on to Public Relations Department. First up, we will have the report of the Vice President of Public Relations. Okay, Frey, you can go.
Federiki, Vice President of Public Relations. Since writing the report, I supported with the promotional preparations for the Career Week. Had the department meeting, in the PR department, I mean, an individual meeting with each of the PR department coordinators, meetings with potential applicants for the PR department positions, helped with the designs relevant to the training project during the EC, worked on the Science Monthly April edition, which remain on the website update plan, and also on the EPSA logo presentation, and attended the 50th meeting progress.
Thank you. And I will ask if there are any questions. Yes, Yupsa?
Kate, EPSA Ukraine. We were happy to see the stories on Instagram from EPSA team members about their work before their open call for EPSA team. However, the promotion of the EPSA team call, in our opinion, has failed, as we can see that a lot of positions are still vacant. Can you please elaborate a little bit more about the possible reasons for the problem?
Frey?
Federici, Vice President of Public Relations. From the perspective we are seeing things, all the recent years we had vacant positions in the team. It is actually something that was mentioned during the 63rd GA portal that we should focus in the promotion of the call for the EPSA team in order to have multiple applicants for the different positions in the team, as that was the main thing missing promotion-wise. And I think that this has actually been something that happened this time in the first round of applications.
Thank you. First, we had a direct from Yupsa.
Kate, EPSA Ukraine. Yeah, we attended the previous GAs, and also, on our opinion, their problem was not that it was published. It's good that it was published, but the problem that it was published too late. And also, we heard some feedbacks on the previous GAs from the OCs that it's good to keep the stories about EPSA team work on the page, but we cannot find it on the page. And also, keep saved stories on the page or on the EPSA page, so the people can come and see it not only before, few weeks before the GA, but also early and get to know more about EPSA. But the feedback was not, no one put attention for this. So this is what we think about this.
Okay. Thank you. Kim, PSV, is it a direct to Yupsa? Okay, then. I have to ask. You can go then.
Eline KP's Netherlands, we just want to add to that we think this is also really, really important. It was way too late. It should be stressed almost at the beginning of the mandate what the team is already doing. Put live vlogs, not just a little representation story of Theo being at a congress, but explaining why he's there and what he's doing there would help so much more to really show what the team is doing and what it means to be part of the team. So we just want to stress that we think this is a really important point brought up by EPSA.
Okay, thank you. We had XII. Is it a direct to KMPSV? Yeah. Okay, then.
Anita XII, Slovenia. We would also like to stress that it was done too late, and we were very disappointed that we asked for more promotional material after it wasn't shared in the email at all, and we also just received one graphic that wasn't very useful, and it would be very nice to add to this a bit of text and stuff like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Asif, is it a direct to XII? Because then I'll just take it as a new point if it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jasmin, as at Switzerland, we also wanted to point out that we did not receive an email regarding the open calls. We only knew it, learned about it through social media, so it'd be nice to also, for the LSS, to get an email so we could tell our members about it.
Okay, thank you. We just had 3 directs which basically said the same thing in different wording, so I would advise you to maybe not repeat each other's points, but show emotion cards if you agree. Freya, direct to Asip. Technical from KPSV.
Eline KP's Netherlands, I disagree that it was a repetition. We actually gave constructive feedback and we want to see that it's actually put into action. We're not just stressing the same thing, we're actually using each other's points to give new ideas to the team. So please don't shut down GA when we actually give new feedback.
Okay, thank you. I will not be shutting down the GA. I'm just trying to keep you in the timeline so you can efficiently talk and see the deer afterwards and not be repetitive. Freya, direct to Asad.
Federici with PPR. In general, I like a lot that we are actually having this discussion. I like a lot that we are having this discussion, sorry for the microphone, because membership would changes over the years and seeing what can be done. So given that we have further rounds of applications in this open call, I think we can actually utilize what we get from you here. As far as to the reasoning behind at least what we have done, the open call had specific dates of announcement. For that, we also needed the materials to be collected from the different team members, so that was not something that could have been released immediately in the beginning of the promotional period. And as far as the organization basically of the different stories, that is something we can implement also for the further rounds, and thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, CCPSA.
Dominica CFPSA Czech Republic, we would just like to add to this, like maybe more explain how we do it, so you can maybe get an idea. Like we have separate infographics for each position with the contact information, with the description of the position, also something what you can experience, what you did during that. And it might be a huge workload for you, and you said that like it was not possible to get the information from all the team members, but if next year it started sooner, yes, as I said, might be a huge workload, but it could benefit us a lot, and it's also much easier for the MOs to promote it like that. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up we have Frey.
Federici with PPR. In order to clarify a little bit, basically what we did this time was hold basically a town hall with the team to discuss the different promotional ideas we wanted to do for the open call. So it was after that point that the preparations for this could begin. But I completely agree, this is something we should definitely take in mind. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Next up we have CPSA.
Ivana, CPSA Croatia. I just want to have a direct on the thing you said before about the promotion of one of the positions that we had more applications. Those were mostly, I don't know if you agree or not, but mostly the people who already knew they want to apply for EPSA team, so they were just waiting for the applications to open so they can apply. It's not that PR department did such a good job that they oh my god, this is great, we want to apply for the EPSA team.
Thank you, Fred.
Federici with PPR. To clarify a little bit on this, I was referring to the amount of vacant spots comparatively to other years, but indeed, usually the people are the ones already interested, for what we have seen at least. That needs to be clarified.
Okay, thank you. Next up we have Apeth with a new point.
Beatriz from Portugal. We've spoken in your report about the management of the PR department, of the new things you implemented to manage this team. What worked better, what didn't work better, and how you can improve that.
Thank you. Frey?
Federici with PPR. I think one of the things that definitely has shown the more significant improvement within the department has been the more frequent department meetings. As we are more easily able to catch up with each other's work and also coordinate our different projects that are common. Additionally, also having the weekly meetings with each of the coordinators, as this way we can also get deeper into what's going on with the portfolio, whether they need help somewhere, if there is some support that they can be given to them so that they can stay on top of their tasks, given the workloads that sometimes can exist within the department. And finally, I would say also the communicational system we implemented with the other departments, as a bigger issue that we were having over the year was that a lot of the communication was happening between two coordinators in private chat, so a lot of the times neither of the VPs or the other relevant people for the promotion of the project knew what was going on. and therefore if something was not going well, we could not intervene in order to get things in order for the promotion. Now we have basically centralized that communication per project. There is always overview on what is going on, and it's significantly harder to lose those information.
Thank you. Next up we have EPSA.
Kate, EPSA, Ukraine. In your report, you mentioned something about super groups. Can you explain a little bit more? What does it mean and how it's working? Maybe we can implement it in other departments or in, I don't know, in our association, just maybe in work in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Frey.
With the EPPR, that is basically the centralized channel I was mentioning. Basically, Telegram allows you in a single channel to provide more than one conversation, so you can have multiple conversations with the same people in the same group. Just each of them can have its own topic, so that you can basically say that, for example, with the art department that we have, you have one conversation for mentoring project, one for other professional affairs project, one for career week, that type of thing. And I would recommend actually we should maybe talk more about utilizing this.
Thank you. Next up we have Andre. CCPSA. Then we have KPSV.
Elena KPSV Netherlands. So in your report, you also talk about your contact with the LSs and that you email that, like the contact is mostly that you email them on updates about the new promotion, and you recommend establishing a timeline parallel to the promotional calendar so that LSs can be aware. Can you elaborate on this, because we don't even really know about a promotional calendar, and how are you going to realize that, because promotion is still something super like flexible.
Thank you, Frey.
The EPPR, basically the promotional calendar is the one that we use internally in order to organize when each post will be each application, so that everyone gets basically their space and can be promoted accordingly. So the suggestion here would be exactly because a lot of the times things are relevant to the members of the member associations and they need to reach them. Similarly to the open calls and everything that we publish or publications, we already were thinking before, but I think even more now, that we need basically a way to let you know ahead of time what is coming in promotion, even if we don't have the materials yet, so that you can also organize it internally more.
Thank you. We have a direct from EPSA.
Kate, EPSA, Ukraine. Do you think that it's possible to share the same document, the same table, which you're updating, just with with the viewing rights for us, and not to create one more like a separate document or something like this, so we can see the updated information there. It will be easy for us, and also we will use it only if we have a need for this and we want to check their promotion plan.
Okay, thank you, Frey.
The EPPR, I think this is a bit more complicated on the regard that the one that we use also has the deadlines we need. For example, we need the design then, but we also need the description by then, so it's the whole preparation and procedure. But I think the general calendar, the one when things will actually go up, is something that can be shared in that way with you. So,
thank you. Frey, just a bit closer. So, thank you. Next up, we have a new point from CPSA.
Even on CPSA Croatia, we're just wondering what's going on with the EPSA logo, and what do you recommend for the new VPPR so that we can make the process maybe quicker, because
Thank you, Frey.
The EPPR, in general, we have collected several initially from the open call that we had in the beginning of the year. We have collected different logos from members and their proposals, and we have also collected some proposals from professional designers. Can you hear me now better? So, other than that, basically we went through the ones that were showing the most potential, and we have already identified whether something, for example, was very similar and therefore would infringe the corporate identity of another association, or any other improvement that needed to be made to those. And we send those improvements back both to the professionals and to the students. From the professionals, we got back again a proposal based on these updated ones. Some final corrections were made, and then we have gotten basically a proposal on our hands. From student side, because there were different suggestions on Twitter, as it was a single thing, like a single student basically was designing it, therefore not multiple designs can be addressed as it was with the professionals. There were basically more potential suggestions to implement that particular design at time. Therefore, that already took a little more time for the student. Then there was also some support needed from the art department side on finalizing those changes and basically implementing all of these. Then out of those basically potential logo options, those were presented to the last team meeting that we had. Some final things were discussed on the basically corrections that can be done on the student logo, so that we are all comfortable and happy with the proposal. So that is currently being implemented from our side this time, as we already have created the groups. And the plan here is basically, once that part is done, which is almost, because they are very easily implementable, let's say, over time corrections with the editable files, to basically make sure that we actually have a proposal and then get back to the members, because in the end the final decision is up to the members. I hope this clarifies.
Okay, thank you. Next up we have Annette.
Marianne in France, since the peer department restrictors, there will be two subcommittee. When do you plan to do open the call for them, and how will be the process for them? Thank you.
Thank you, Frey.
Federici, VPPR. In general, that is one of the handover projects of the Vice President of Public Relations. From my side, the recommendation is to start with the preparation of this as soon as possible, especially now that we're talking more than one, in order to get the people there early as possible, and potentially also on board them at the same time as the coordinators will be on board, so that the bonding is better, and they can also be more active throughout the mandate and support the coordinators of the PR department.
Thank you. Next up we have a new point from Shasta. Dropped. EPSA.
Kate, EPSA Ukraine. As we can see, not all associations participating in sharing the promotional materials of all the activities. So we would like to suggest that send the promotion materials also through the LC group, not only by mail with a link to the Canva. Why? We believe that, for example, for some countries we just want to share the promotion materials in English, it will be more beneficial to receive it through LS group. For example, I will receive it as a LS, I will see it, and I will reshare it to my PR department as soon as possible at the same moment, so I can receive like 2 pictures, like for Instagram stories, for post and text. I will resend it. Because if I receive the email, especially during my working day, I will not put attention on it. I can forget about it later. But if there are countries which want to translate their materials, of course they can go to email and do this through Canva. What's your opinion about this?
Thank you. Frey?
Federici, VPPR. In general, we are here to support also you now. And basically you're gonna like us here, so we are here to accommodate your needs. I think the best way to tackle this is to liaise with the IA department, and especially VPIA, as they are the ones mostly in contact with the LSs and know what your needs might be better than the VPPR would do and find exactly the better strategy that would work for all of you in order to participate in this. So,
Thank you. Yupsa?
Kate, you've said Ukraine, but is it possible in general to do this directly, like if you can join the group and send it directly, and not to create one more level between PR department and us?
Thank you. Frey?
Frederici VPPR, if the IA department is fine with it, then we can do from our side. And
Frey, clarification from Frey?
Frey VPPR, could you also repeat the structure a little bit on how you're proposing, like the exact thing?
Okay, can you just repeat? I don't think they heard.
Yeah, go ahead.
Frey VPPR. If I remember correctly, of course, feel free to intervene. So basically, the proposed structure is that VPPR also joins the LS group, and the materials are also shared there, and not only by email with the editors.
Okay, technical from, okay, clarification?
Sorry, Kate, you've said Ukraine. Sorry, I don't understand. You like we should to do this like a proposal to put it in our documents or something like this to like more official stuff, or I don't understood it. What did you say?
Okay, point of information from Frey.
The VPPR, I basically repeated what I understood of your proposal to Madrid.
Okay, Yupsa?
Yes, my proposal was just to add you to the group so you can share it to the materials, promotion materials in our LLC group directly. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Marlene? Mike?
But in VPA, so in terms of adding the VPPR into the group so that they can poke directly is no problem. What is a big concern is that if then materials, if they're shared parallel, like email and WhatsApp, it's fine. However, tendencies do not support that because like when you watch what happens if you mix the more informal poking groups with the official things to be sent over email, people tend to forget to follow up over email, and then and only the WhatsApp group will be used, and that is not good for knowledge transfer in any way, and a lot of information gets lost over the years.
Thank you. Then we can proceed to new points. We have one from KPSV.
Alien KPG Netherlands, so this is a new point, but it's kind of related to what we're talking about now. We also felt like it sometimes was confusing how sometimes the responsible person for the project was sharing the promotion material, but then sometimes VPPR was sharing it later over email. We think it would be most beneficial to have the actual responsible person sharing it. So for example, regarding a new TNT, then the training coordinator shares it. Regarding a public health and social service campaign, then they share it, because then you can really put it into compartments instead of just being sent promotion. Yeah, that's just a suggestion from us.
Thank you. Frey?
Frederici VPPR, in general, that is a recommended standard practice on this. It's just that at times the responsible people for the promotion either cannot or do not go through with it, so therefore you have to get the materials one way or the other, and that's missing.
Okay.
Completely agree.
Okay, thank you. And we have one more new point from EPSA. No, that was dropped. CPSA?
Ivana CPSA Croatia, we were wondering how would you evaluate the work that was made on the website?
Thank you. Frey?
Frederici with PPR. In general, I would say that the main thing that I can already attach to it would be that it has been a very slow process, at times slower than it had to be. And also from my perspective at least, I think we could have been a bit more efficient also with the approach that we followed, like what pages were prioritized on it, what was the best way basically to get the more relevant information out first, and then information that might not be needed as often, especially by members. And on on the more general perspective, because at the moment the update was more content oriented, that is also the thing that I have been liking, basically the look of the website to look different, because at the moment this has still stayed into a relatively old type of design, so it would be good also to have sped up the process of making it look better as well. I don't know if that was well.
The CPSA.
So what are, Ivana CPSA Croatia, so what are the plans for the future to make it quicker?
Frey?
Federici with PPR. We have during the team meeting did a live review of the pages that were updated or are to be updated because they are in draft mode at the moment. With Charmaine, also with the help of Gabriel, we have booked a whole Sunday where basically will be like office hours that they can drop in and give their input for their specific projects, as it has been one of the struggles also to collect the actual input for the relevant positions. That is already part of the update content part. As far as the design part, there has been for a while now a different template on how the website should look like. Basically, what delayed the change of the look has been the migration of the content. So basically, we have the old one, we need to basically copy all of the pages to the new template. But since the pages were not ready, we didn't do that.
Thank you. We don't have any new points on the speaking list. Are there any further questions or comments? Frey? Okay, go.
Frederici PPR. At this moment, I would just like to also address my department. This year has been particularly hard at times. There were different issues that we are having both internal and also in our communication and overall that we would have liked to have tackled. And in the end, what I appreciate for all of them, like Leila, Jason, Sandra, and Charmaine, is that we managed to see what exactly was going on, and even if not to fully improve, because it took time, this process, to still be able to find a way to work at least a little bit better. And following up on that, and I really am happy that I got to do this with them overall. Additionally, I cannot close this without thanking the whole executive. Throughout all of the struggles we were having, they were there for us. They gave their input, improvements that we should have had. They had meetings individual with us to see what's going on, how we can fix things, how we can do the process more efficient. So thank you, and especially Gabriel and Marlene for that. We potentially might not have made it without their support, so I just wanted to say thank you for this.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will be moving on with the PR department to the social media coordinator. Leila?
So, dear General Assembly, For the last time here, here are my updates since my last report. We had quite a lot of work in April. I have fulfilled all of the obligations towards our sponsors, including EcoShield. One of the most challenging projects we had this year was Career Week at the start of the April, which required a lot of considerable amount of time and effort since it was not prepared in advance. Due to the several last-minute changes, posts were made pretty late in the evening, but I'm satisfied with the outcome, and we managed to successfully educate the project. We also had one of the European Affair Wednesdays. I have made a post for the TNT, which happened in Romania, and it did quite well. I have updated the social media calendar regularly. I also liaised with the RCSU 23 to promote upcoming event. I have also posted a promotion for it, and I hope we will have more for future. Furthermore, I have been engaging with potential successors to my position, and I'm delighted to share that I have received a lot of interest for my role. However, I have noticed that some potential candidates are actually hesitant to apply due to a time-consuming nature of the position and requiring significant flexibility. As a result, I intend to communicate with my successor and the next VPPR, and so we try to find a new strategy to ensure the social media coordinator role does not consume all of their time. Thank you.
Thank you, and we will proceed to questions. First we have EPSA.
Kate, EPSA Ukraine, thank you for your work. And I have a question. In your report, in the line of the recommendations or possible improvements, in almost all points you put none. It was confused me a little bit. We were confused about this, and like, do you have any vision like how to improve or something like this in the future?
Thank you, Leila.
Leila, social media coordinator. Thank you for your question. Actually, there are social media guidelines that are coming up. They should supposed to be already approved and presented to you, but unfortunately, due to both of my positions that I held, they just didn't get to be done by now, and I do not want to do like half of the job. So they will definitely be done by the end of the mandate, and that's why all of those things are practically none, because all of them are going to be explained in detail in the social media guidelines.
Thank you. Next up we have APEF.
Beatriz, APEF Portugal. Thank you for your report. Our question would be in the sense of, you said that the workload of the social media, it's pretty high. So we would want to know on your part and on our part what could be done to help improve, because if a position has a lot of workload, people tend not to apply for it, and we now have it filled, but for future, this is a very serious matter and we want to all cooperate on this matter.
Thank you. Leila?
Leila, social media coordinator, thank you for your question. Yes, unfortunately, position is like that you need to be practically available all of the time because you're communicating with almost every team member, and a lot of them have different working schedules. So I had days that I have been working for EPSA from 6 a.m. till midnight, because all of them work at a different time, and they expect, because most of the time everything is urgent, so they expect everybody to be for social media to be always available. We can do that by managing team properly, so the whole team gets more prepared and in advance to send materials, and not to have me waiting for materials 10 minutes before they needed to be posted. So that's probably more on the higher level, more on the executive level, so we can manage team more properly, so the social media coordinator does not suffer all of the time.
Thank you. Next up we have Shusafada.
Tiasha, Shusafada. Thank you for your report and the work done. So my question is, how was it for you to simultaneously work on as a social media coordinator for EPSA and as a part of PR officer for the annual congress? Have you found it difficult to control both positions at the same time? Thank you.
Thank you. Leila?
Leila, social media coordinator. Thank you for your question. There are also some good and bad sides. I would say the good sides were that finally I had schedule prepared in advance so I can know what is coming up, which is not usually the case. The hard part was just balancing both of those because especially from EPSA's part, there has been a lot of urgent matters that needed to be done now. And it made my life a little bit more difficult because I couldn't schedule my work as a PR officer, but I managed it, and I think as my RC whole, we did an amazing job preparing this event. So it is possible, and I'm here. So yeah, I think it is not that big of a deal in my opinion. There just needs to be willingness from a person to do it.
Thank you. We had a technical from Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. 9.11 from the executive. We remember when we suspended the part of the standing orders, we forgot to bring it back. So technically, like that article that we suspended is not in use. So we propose a 9.11, a motion to resume the standing orders in parts or as a whole, and we propose to resume them as a whole for them to be all here.
Okay, thank you, Gabriel. We will open the floor for discussion on the 9.11. Did you guys understand what's going on? Cards. Thank you. Would the red cards like to be explained again what is going on? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President. Okay, so yesterday, before the election started, I told you that there was an article that said that we had to go in order of the positions that say in torso, and we asked you to suspend this article because otherwise we would need to do 5 internal discussions instead of 3, and then we went in a different order for the elections of coordinators. And now, basically that article is still suspended because we suspended it. So I'm just proposing this quick motion to bring it back and nothing is suspended.
Okay. Good now? Okay, amazing. Thank you for the explanation. Then I will open the floor for discussion on the 9.11. Are there any new points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, I close the floor for discussion.
And we will proceed to voting on the 9.11. Are there any abstentions? Anyone against? Who is for? Okay, we have 18 votes for, none against, no abstentions. So we can move on now with Leila's report. Next up on the speaking list with the questions, we have KPSV.
Eline KPSV Netherlands, thank you for your report. So you're talking about analyzing data and you say that you did not prioritize it and did not have a lot of time for it. However, you did mention that you were able to deliver important information upon request to the grant coordinator and the publication coordinator. Can you elaborate on why specifically those positions and what you did with the data?
Thank you. Leila?
Leila, social media coordinator. So Manuel, grants coordinator, asked me for some parts of data that were supposed to be also sent with the grant application. I'm not really sure which one, but he actually made me a list, what he needed, and I just fulfilled the numbers and did that work. And also for publications coordinator for our annual booklet, There is a part of social media that was also delivered by me to Sandra, our publications coordinator.
Thank you. We had a direct from Frey.
Now it is. Frederic from EPSA. Additionally, after the analysis of data, I would like to mention that since the beginning of the mandate, it has been a collaborative project between us, part of both our POAs. So a lot of the analysis also came from my side, therefore there was no need also for additional duplication of work from data side.
Thank you. Do we have any new KMPSV?
Elena Kempies with Netherlands. So there's also a point in your report about giveaway and rewards. Can you elaborate on the specific reward price and everything you want to give? There's also something about to give a chance to our old followers, and also something about the sponsors. Can you just give more details on it?
Thank you, Leila.
Leila, social media coordinator. Process of giveaway and rewards has been discussed for now 2 years. Last year, I did a lot of work to get everything legally sorted, so we didn't get any trouble. So we got that part at the end of the last mandate. But as you probably know, the budget of social media coordinator was cut to 0. That didn't give me a lot of space to work. That's why I tried to through my DPPR to have a meeting with Dale, but unfortunately, since there is a lot of more priorities, we did not have it yet. I hope we will have one until the end of the mandate, but that's why I turned around towards anniversary hoodie to just have some kind of a giveaway and prize to boost our followers, as well as the engagement, since it would be a standard Instagram giveaway where there needs to be liked and also commented, comment 3 of your closest friends, so tag them so they will also see it. And anniversary hoodie just seemed like a good thing that people may want it. Unfortunately, I still did not receive any feedback on it. But I hope I will get soon so we can do a giveaway. Giveaways were done previously in EPSA, so before my mandate. They were not executed well, and I'm not going to do halfway giveaways, so because I was left with people not receiving their prizes. So I did that last year, so I delivered prizes from the year back. That's why I really need to have everything set before I even open the giveaway, because I do not want to disappoint our followers with them not receiving the prizes.
Thank you. Sorry. Do we have any other new points? GPSF?
Hey, GPSF, please. We felt that this year the team's engagement in social media, you cannot hear me? Okay, we felt that this year the team's engagement in social media was rather low, especially the most professional ones, Twitter and LinkedIn. Do you have any ideas on how this could be improved in the future? Thank you.
Thank you. Leila?
Leila, social media coordinator. Actually, this year, Twitter was handled by 2 of our VPs that are actually interns in Brussels, since it was more logical for them to post directly than to them send to me, then I need to post it. It does just not make sense. I still have an overview and I'm still logged in on Twitter. The engagement of our team members, I also know, and I was also to express that still actually really try to motivate all of the team members to go on Twitter. LinkedIn is a little bit of specific because we cannot repost a lot, yeah, we try to do our best, but I definitely believe that this team has more engagement on Instagram than the previous team had. So with reposts and also my tags of them, I mean not tags like mentions, that you cannot see that they're mentioned, but they're easily reposted, and that was happening a lot this year, much more than the last year.
Thank you. Are there any new points? EPSA?
Kate, EPSA Ukraine. I just wanted to say that the idea of creating more the events in Facebooks, and also I just wanted to say that the idea of creating events in Facebook and sharing the events there, the activities, and also the idea of reposting the information of the any activity, webinar, and all the stuff on the pages of the member of the EPSA team. How it's like, I noticed that this year we did this like resharing the information more, and we like the idea, and we would like to suggest to continue this. And also with in Instagram, you started to also to mention, for example, our association, and it was really useful for us to reshare all the information from your page, and we really thank you for this.
Thank you. Leila?
Thank you for your comments. I really tried to implement what everything was wrong last year to this year. Unfortunately, not all members are that quite engaging on a lot of our social medias. That's probably because of their internal stuff. And actually, it's a little bit clogs our messages, especially on Instagram, and it's hard to see when, because maximum of mentioning is 20 on Instagram. So at some point I was trying to see who is actually engaging with EPSA, and only like tag them more frequently, because we have associations that practically I tag them 10 times and they did not repost anything, but I still try to be fair towards every association. So I have implemented, I will also discuss it with my successor to continue to do that, as well as the share of events, and also from the team to invite all of their friends to the events.
Thank you. We have a new point from CZPSA.
Dominika CZPSA Czech Republic, just maybe to continue what also EPSA said, that also support the Facebook events, but our association really uses it, but it's not for everyone, and like we believe that we saw that one-fits-all approach to PR is not really possible with so many member organizations. We were also thinking if maybe PR department thought about creating a Telegram channel where all EPSA members could join and like follow what's going on, because we believe that also there's a social media that some member association use very frequently, although this point should have probably been brought up in the VVPR report, but too late for that, sorry, thank you.
Thank you. Leila?
Leila, social media coordinator. Actually, we can go way back to Lyon, AC at Lyon, because I have discussed it with LSs to have some direct communication with PR department and the PR departments of the association, and that was practically shut down momentarily. We can also we can discuss it more in details. Also, I'm always reachable on each social media platform, as I was always there. But definitely, I believe that suggestions should be implemented in one way or another in EPSA, and also the connection within EPSA and associations.
Thank you. Okay, 9.3 proposed by NAPSAR, seconded by APEF. Okay, I will open the floor for discussion on the 9.3. Any points? KPSV? Sorry, didn't see you.
And in KPSV, how many points were still left? Because we feel like this is an unnecessary I'm confused.
No, there were 0.
Okay,
points.
so then we want to say that it's not necessary to close it like this, right? So maybe stop having us raise our hands like this and let the floor close by PC.
Now that you're already here, a little bit of exercise. Okay, who wants to take it? Gabriel? Okay, the motion was dropped by Nopsa. Thank you, Leila, for your report. We will be moving on to the next report from our design coordinator. Okay, Jason, you can go.
Jason, design coordinator. Between the writing of my report and now, I have bought a new laptop, made a cover for the anniversary video, made a PowerPoint background for the project coordinator, made a thank you card for the PhD coffee speakers, made a certificate for the Science Day, made a silent auction and live auction visuals, worked on the EPSA presentation, made my slides for the being in the EPSA team presentation for tomorrow. I had a meeting and answered all the questions with people interested in applying for the design coordinator position. Are there any questions?
Thank you. We will now take questions. Kim Bisbee.
89 KMPSV Netherlands. So Jason, also to you, thank you on behalf of KMPSV. We're super happy to see that first you performed as in the list, but then you were so excited to join the team on a specific topic that you're really interested in. Even though sometimes it was hard to meet all the deadlines, we know it's a very demanding position, and we think that a lot of the designs did turn out very beautiful. On to a question. So in your report, you wrote about the PR subcommittee, and you said that contact has been made and they are working. So can you elaborate on this PR subcommittee and what they're doing and how you're helping them?
Thank you. Jason?
Jason, design coordinator. Thank you for the kind words. Yes, so we liaised with the PR subcommittee to make a TNT training sticker. That's what I know.
We'll take it direct from Frey.
Federici for PPR, I think I nailed it this time. As far as the subcommittee goes, basically this is not the responsibility of the design coordinator to manage, but mine. So basically they have mainly been involved in some later design projects such as the stickers, and also provided support throughout the week that Jason's laptop was not available and we needed help with the ongoing promotions. Also some previous templates back, but mainly their involvement has been more active through let's say the beginning of this year. And also there was support by the subcommittee member responsible for audiovisual for the videos that we released from the team in the stories, and finally from the editorial board regarding the review of publications.
Thank you. Apes?
Beatriz Apes, Portugal. We really want to emphasize the importance of the PR subcommittee and the well management of this team, because they can become potential team members, which is very important right now since there is a lack of interest in joining the team. It's people that can be very easily just demotivated because they don't have the events. So we just want to stress the importance of this topic, because in the future we might not have anyone apply, and the team itself does not have the human resources to sustain the project by itself.
Thank you. I will take any other new points that you may have now. Asep? Sorry.
Elena Asep, Switzerland. We realized that for some other positions they mentioned that they took over the design. Do you have any recommendations on how this can be prevented in the next year? Thank you.
Jason?
Jason, design coordinator. If they took over the design, that meant I probably talked to them and have the time, maybe I didn't have the human resources to do it, and it was fine for a time to do. Being in this position, it's a very high demanding position sometimes, and the fluctuations in projects, it's very demanding. But how it can be prevented, maybe you can give a draft and I can make it better so it's easier, more time efficient for me to do.
Thank you. Do we have any other new points? I don't see any, so Jason, thank you for your report, and we will be moving on. Okay, we have the publications coordinator and the IT coordinator. They were supposed to connect on Zoom, but they are not currently on Zoom. So I guess, Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, I will leave it up to the GA if you want to try to change it to another time. These are one of the few points that haven't changed in the agenda, and they've been public for a long time. They've known that they were supposed to be here. I can change it to later if you want.
KPSV? Oh, sorry. Sorry, there was a clarification from AFAP. Sorry. Here.
Elena of Austria, what would be the alternatives? Thank you.
Gabriel?
Gabriel, President. Either putting it on the placeholder GA after lunch like the ER department is, for example, and see if they will be able to join. Or, I mean, we don't really have a lot of time. So on the emergency GA tomorrow.
KPSV?
Alien KPSV Netherlands, but do you mean that if they're not going to be here now, we're going to discuss their reports but not be able to ask questions because they're not here? Like, what does it mean if we do it now? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, yeah, you can ask questions that Frey will answer within their knowledge, and yeah, you just, everything will be minuted and communicated to them.
Okay, thank you. KPSV?
Alien KPSV Netherlands, do you know any reason why they're not present now? Like, we think this is a super serious and bad problem. We are really disappointed in some of the aspects of their position, and it's really bad that they're not there. So do you have any information on it? Otherwise, we just want it to be minuted that we think it's really bad that they're not there.
Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, we agree and we don't know, neither us nor the PC.
Yeah, no, I can just tell you we're in contact with them through the Telegram, but there is no response. AFAP?
Annika AFAP Austria would just suggest to discuss it now with Frey and then see if we have enough answers to accept the reports. Thank you.
I will ask the GA to state if they want to discuss it now with Frey answering. Okay, I see general agreement, then we can continue with their reports. So, Frey, do you want to state anything about the reports? Because there's... Yes, Frey.
Federici, BPPR. We have publication first, no?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So since the writing of the report, Sandra has been working on the publication of special edition of the monthly dose, except if I don't remember the date of the report correctly, excuse me for that. And also the normal edition that we will have on theoretically today. For April monthly dose, I know that his work has been done there, and basically I already received a copy of it to review, so working on the publication of that dose. She has also attended online some sessions of the 50 meeting, if I'm not mistaken, answer questions to her report and also write out the reports. And I think also liaised beforehand with the team in order to prepare that those that I received as some of the content is relevant to this. I just don't know the exact communication as it wasn't mine, but I know that there were liaisons for the monthly dose prepared for now.
Thank you. Now we will take questions regarding the publications coordinator's report. Kim Pisvi.
Eline again, PCV Netherlands. So it's less of a question, but more just a feedback thing. So about the monthly dose, even also in the recommendations, Sandra stated that she wants to work with LSs in the future, and we think it's very important with regards to promotion of the monthly dose, because once you register you get it, but it's not really promoted to receive it. So all of our members don't sign up to get it, and if we as LSs just get the monthly dose, there's not a real good way to promote it, so really make sure to also have an actual promotion on it.
Thank you. Frey?
Frederici, BBPR, I can report on some work that has been done on this part already, and also the future plans on this, at least what was discussed between us in the department. So basically the work already done is that Sandra and Charmaine have liaised in order to update the monthly dose on the website. The reason that this wasn't updated so far, it was since 2020 we've been using a different platform for it, which basically does not allow to export, so it required additional effort at times to basically create it in a PDF version for people to see. They have found a solution into that, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, at the moment Sandra is within the process of basically recovering past monthly dose in order to update there. As far as the promotional part goes, it started being promoted on social media when we have releases, so that people know that the monthly dose is out. And as far as future plans go, indeed it has been also one of our objectives overall, like to basically give this heads up that we were mentioning throughout the different reports to the LSs on what is upcoming on publications wise, also the recommendation that I mentioned before. And especially for publications, given that they are more scheduled and more organized than social media posts, we want to do it significantly ahead of time, not only for Modo, but with the opportunity of Modo, so that basically people can also know that this is coming. Potentially we can provide you with some promotional materials as well for you to utilize, given that you know ahead of time.
Thank you. Sorry. We will take any other new points that you may have. AFOP?
Elena, AFOP Austria. In the report, it is stated that it was planned to do a monthly dose, especially on the EPSA open call. Has it been published? Okay, then that's settled. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? I don't see any, so maybe we can move on to the IT coordinator. Frey?
Frederici, BPPR. Since the submission of the report, Charmaine had a meeting with me in order to go through certain troubles she was having with the website, as we were having basically an issue with the plugin. And we found a solution with that. Additionally, she has reported to me an issue we were having with the top bar of the website in some of the pages. So she's at the moment investigating that with me. We have also went through what updates have been done and also what she has been working on that has not been published yet, namely the science projects, the about page, the membership page. some of the ones that we received the most input for from the team in order to restructure, and has already prepared the draft for those pages. She has also attended the 50 meeting and also presented there some of the changes, and it was then also that was decided basically to proceed with that open day for the website to collect input. And we have also liaised so that I get again the codes for the live streaming, as those fall under IT coordinator's portfolio, so that we can do the setup for the AC.
Okay, thank you. We will be taking any comments with KMPSV.
Eline KMPSV Netherlands. In the report, there's something about forms, and it says, so it's like forms I have completed include nomination forms and the registration for the AC23. These forms have included an Excel sheet for clearer information, organization, and data privacy. So can you elaborate on what this means?
Thank you. Frey?
Federici VPPR, that actually brings up two different things. If it's okay, can I take them one after the other as a director myself? Okay, so as far as the preparation of the forms go, it was decided in order to basically reduce the amount of money that we are utilizing to not use JOT form anymore. Therefore, all of the older forms that we had in JOT form had to be migrated to Google Forms. So that part is about the nomination form and also some other forms under that Charmaine has been working on. And also preparationally for the AC form is basically the registration one. It's the setup that the IT coordinator does so that you also get the country spreadsheets and everything.
Frey, you can go.
And the direct to myself now about the data privacy that has to do with the data privacy registry that has been set up in previous mandates. Basically is a way for us to centralize all of the types of data we collect in the different forms that we have, so that we can ensure that basically the deletion happens on time. So every time we create a form or we have a spreadsheet that has personal data, it is inputted there so that then we can also delete it.
Thank you. KMPSV?
Eline KMPSV Netherlands, thank you for clarifying that, but just to add on to a specific detail on the question I posed, we're just confused about the wording. These forms have included an Excel sheet for clearer information. What does that mean?
Frey?
Federici VPPR, that is the registry, because the registry is in format of basically the way that it's set up. It comes through a form basically, even though it's not technically a Google form, that collects all of the different forms that have data and then inputs that. But it's just basically a spreadsheet that provides overview of other spreadsheets. Kind of like how the country spreadsheet works, like similar function, but different setup. I don't know if that clarifies.
Thank you. We have a new point from Shasafada.
Anita Shasafada, Slovenia. We would like to point out that the page on member associations wasn't updated, and it brings problems to communication sometimes because it's the first thing we check when we want to communicate with other associations.
Thank you. A clarification from Frey.
Federici VPPR, I wanted to ask, since there has been a date on the current information that we have had right before the beginning, no, in the beginning of December, for all the member associations, have you sent information to Charmaine that was not updated?
Okay. Okay, thank you. KMPSV?
Eline KMPSV Netherlands. In the report, there's also a point about the live stream. It's written, other than the suggestion on new devices, I also plan to try out the live stream layout, whether it can be used and whether it can bring improvement to the attractiveness of the live stream. Can you elaborate on what new changes have been made to the live stream?
Thank you. technical from Frey. Frederica, can you repeat the code a bit slower? Sorry.
Alien again, PZ Netherlands. It's basically about the fact that there's something in the report about updating the live stream, but we've noticed that right now it's not really working out great, which can obviously be due to the fact that the IT coordinator is not even here. So can you elaborate on the work that's actually done on the live stream? What has changed on how to improve it?
Thank you, Frey. Frederica, VPPR, mainly the suggestion for update has been on the equipment, which has not been done as an update, given that it's a relatively old equipment, like it's just basically a standard camera that you would use for a meeting in a computer. That is the main part that Sarmin was suggesting to update, like equipment-wise. As far as the general layout, still with the same equipment, basically you can still do optimizations in a device in order to have the best potential settings for a stream. It needs to be said though here that not all of the time it's our equipment at fault. Like the coordination and organization of what is going on during this, of course, is something that might potentially be affected by Charmaine's absence as the one coordinating it. But the fact, for example, that we're having sound or buffer issues that has to do with the general internet, that's not something under our control. Thank you, Kim Bisbee.
Alien again, PZ Netherlands, thank you for elaborating on that. We just want to stress that we think it's really important that the live stream functions properly, and we've really noticed that during this GA that there's been a lot of technical difficulties. Obviously, some of the stuff is outside of the team's control, but we just wanted to be stressed for the next IT coordinator to really focus on this and try to be there before have test runs so we can speed up GA and also have the audience properly experience the live stream, because we think that's really important and we've gotten messages about it all the time.
Thank you. Do we have any new points? Kim Bisbee?
Alien again, PZ Netherlands, this is a question I don't know you can answer, but a plan for the remainder of the mandate is my main goal is to have the website reconstructed fully, and we were just wondering how realistic is this goal? How can we really see it happening?
Thank you. Frey? Frederica, VPPR, I can only answer for the technical part of it. The human part of it, which is not a work that I will be doing myself for the most part of it, of course I will be helping as much as I can. That I cannot cover because I do not know about that. Out of the technical possibility of things, it can actually be done because during the mandate of mine, and we had also mentioned to my reports as IT coordinator and had similar discussions about it, we have the visual and basically general update of the website. So it was basically the content part that held us back this year. So long as we are done with the content part, it is actually feasible to migrate soon enough there. Thank you. Kim Bisbee?
Alien again, PZ Netherlands. No more questions about this, but just a compliment to Frey for taking on both of these reports and answering the questions quite well, because we just want to stress it's really a shame that they're not there, and we're proud to see that at least the VP is able to cover for the coordinators. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Bisbee?
Alien again, PZ the Netherlands. Another point which basically goes for the whole team, but we just want to stress that there's a lot of plans in some of the reports, and we just really hope to see that the team will push those through and will actually realize them, because it can seem that obviously after you've been through ACE, reports have been accepted, hopefully, that it's all done and cookies from now, but make sure we accept them because we read that it's the plan. So really make sure to focus on that too. Thanks.
Thank you. Any new points? Okay, since I don't see any, thank you for the report. And we will be moving on to the next reports, which are the European Affairs Department, and we will take the report of the Vice President of European Affairs.
Katerina. Katerina VPA. So since the writing of my report, I had a fortnightly meeting with Gabrielle. I liaised with Charlotte to prepare the EA Wednesday on the Policy and Advocacy Toolkit. Together with Theo, I had a meeting with the European Public Health Alliance to discuss a collaboration on a joint position on shortages of healthcare professionals. I had a meeting with Theo and Gabrielle to discuss the collaboration proposal between EPSA and Beatrice. I held an EA department meeting to discuss the advocacy sessions being delivered at the annual congress, the structure of APR meetings, toolkit trainings, and handover. I was present at the first policy AAG meeting and held the first AAG meeting on interprofessional collaboration. I was present at the Board of European Students of Technology Spring General Assembly to present EPSA. I initiated one investigation on collaboration with scientific journals to publish EPSA survey results, and one investigation on how to increase EPSA's policy and advocacy influence during members' events. I wrote and liaised with Frey for a press release on the 13th EPSA annual reception. I continued brainstorming on the public consultation, learning opportunities abroad in Europe for everyone, and liaised with the European Medicines Agency for the survey on regulatory sciences and information on the agency that ESSAS has been working on. I attended the 15 meeting live in Zagreb. I also attended the APRs, LSs, and ODs meetings at the 44th EPSA Annual Congress. Together with Theo, I had a meeting with Informa Connect for the Global Pharmaceutical Regulatory Affairs Summit. And finally, I liaised with ESSAS for the signing of the collaborative agreement on the ESSA Summer University 2024. For my little speech, I just wanted to thank the team. I have made great friendships that I intend to take with me for my life, not only on the team, but also in you. I've met great people in you as well. My APRs working with me throughout the year. I also want to thank the exec because they have been my biggest support every Tuesday for the past mandate, even when I knew not a lot about EPSA in the beginning. I hope I made you all proud of what I know now about EPSA. I especially want to thank Gabrielle, of course, for being my biggest support and pushing me forward to do these challenges of my life, and for being my biggest partner in Brussels and helping me get through what I had to get through. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Katerina. We will proceed to any questions that you may have. KPSV.
Elina KPSV Netherlands, so thank you so much for your super detailed report and all your hard work for the position. We really think you did a great job, and we can really see all the efforts that you've done, especially also with the engagement of the APRs, which is super crucial since it can be quite a daunting topic. And we were just wondering if you have any new ideas for the advocacy strategy that you also plan to discuss with alumni.
Thank you, Katerina.
Katerina VPA. Thank you for the comment, of course. Yeah, regarding the advocacy strategy, I've been working on it since kind of the beginning of the year, like thinking about some of the topics that I want to propose for the next 3 years of EPSA regarding advocacy, regarding our targets, our long-term aims, the objectives that we want to have with the advocacy strategy. It's still not released because I pretend to do this with my successor just to see if we are aligned in terms of priorities, because my aim is to do like an advocacy strategy for each topic rather than one big one for all of the 3 topics, so that we have concrete outcomes, inputs of what we want to do for each of the topics. So yeah, I'm pretending to liaise with my successor, see if the topics align, and then after do like intermediate outcomes and the final long-term aims that we pretend to achieve with each advocacy strategy. And after we finalize the document together, I plan to share it with Atlases, because it's very important for us to get your feedback in terms of what you think about the advocacy topics that we also propose to advocate in the future. And we are also sharing it with alumni because we know that they have a lot of expertise on some of the areas that we also want to tackle. So yeah, that's basically the timeline.
Thank you. Next up we have Annette.
Pauline, Annette France. So So we really appreciate the fact that you wanted to include peers as much as possible in the process of writing. We also appreciate your transparency about any issues happening during your mandate, for example, the annual reception. So we have a question. Some associations are not really, they do not have really experiences regarding advocacy and policy, and others have a lot of experience in position paper and documents. How can you improve the work with the ones who already have position paper and documents, and how do you think we can improve and carry out the work of these national associations?
Thank you. Katarina?
Katarina, VPA. Thank you. Yeah, I fully agree that we have some disparities between members in terms of what they have achieved with advocacy or not. That's why also this year with Charlotte, we try to approach members and try to be as much as available as possible to give individual policy and advocacy sessions so that we can progressively introduce the members that have not as much experience on these topics. I've also been discussing with Charlotte that for the future there could possibly be a bigger collaboration between VPA policy and APC, and we can try to optimize the APR meetings, which is something that I also already plan to do this mandate. To optimize the APR meetings so that we have, for example, meetings with breakout rooms where we have people with more advocacy and policy background and expertise with national associations that don't have as much expertise, so that you can also share good practices. And if we propose like case studies, or we are now working on, okay, at the end of this APR meeting we want for you to have a pitch on a specific topic, we can have you as well engage with members, because we feel like sometimes when it's EPSA doing it, when it's us doing it, it can be a little bit unidirectional, and that's not our intention at all. We want it to be a conversation and a discussion where all of the members can be involved. So I think having as well engagement from member to member and APRs, so APRs could be like a possible way, in a good way, of having like more engagement of the member associations on policy and advocacy, and start stimulating the ones with not as much expertise to start working on it as well, by also sharing your good practices and the ways that you started working on advocacy and policy in your own national associations.
Thank you. Next up we have Malena. Oh,
Malini VPA. So this is because Chloe is also taking care of the alumni weekend, so I have a question from an alumni from Jess McNamara, who was VPA 2020-2021. The first question is, can you give a brief insight into what the advocacy strategy entails? So not only the plans, but more the topics and the content.
Thank you. Katarina?
Katarina VPA. So regarding the topics that I am to propose to my successor, I discussed and I tried to assess like the team's backgrounds, what they think was lacking, and also try to combine it with the hot topics of the European Union institutions, so not only European Commission, but as well as other European organizations that we work with. And there were like three main topics that I think will be very discussed in the next few years, which is obviously digital health. It's some very high in priority list for EU. And then I put well-being of students, because it's something that we've been tackling and advocating for a lot. I also tried to do them as broad as possible, so that we could include subtopics within the big topics that we have for the strategy. So for example, in well-being of students, we can talk about mental health, which is something that we've also been advocating for a lot. And then I put the One Health approach, because it's also a broad topic, it's been talked a lot, and we can tackle some of other issues that are also impacting the pharmacy sector, such as like the environmental aspect of, for example, medicines or the green transition. So I